A Bronx kid was born to fight, but he traded punches for touchdowns and changed the NFL forever.
And it's Barkley. Touchdown. Eagles. Saquon with a second.
Saquon Barkley's journey defied family legacy, injuries, and doubt, ending in one of the greatest NFL seasons ever.
So you say you know my uncle?
Yeah, he's crazy though.
You owe his uncle money, don't you, Mike?
No,
That's what I heard on the street. I just heard
Yo,
that.
Mike, what the fuck, man? Give me some money, man. I'm fucked up out here.
And here's where it all begins. Saquon didn't just grow up near sports, he grew up inside boxing. His dad, Ali Barkley, wasn't some weekend fighter. He was the real deal, throwing punches professionally. And his great uncle, Iran Barkley, held world titles in 3 weight classes. Boxing was in his blood, in the gym smells of leather and sweat, in the pop of gloves against pads echoing through the walls. Little Saquon would tag along, shadow the routines, and even step into the ring sometimes. His dad pushed him hard, street fights, gym drills, the whole 9 yards. Everyone expected him to follow that path. But Saquon hated getting hit. He wanted space. He tried to run. That spark of rebellion? That's where the legend starts. Just when you thought Saquon's story was set, life flipped the script. In 2001, his family packed up the Bronx and moved to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, but it wasn't a straight path. Over the next few years, they bounced between towns trying to find their footing. Eventually, they landed in Coplay, a small place that would quietly set the stage for greatness. It was here that football first grabbed him, a natural escape from the world of boxing. Running, dodging, breaking free. On a field instead of a ring, Saquon finally felt like he had room to breathe. And this is where it gets really interesting. At Whitehall High School, part of the powerhouse Eastern Pennsylvania Conference, Saquon was just another kid at first. His freshman year barely made a ripple. He was small, quiet, mostly on the sidelines, learning the ropes. But between sophomore and junior year, something clicked. His legs got stronger, his speed jumped, and suddenly, defenders who once brought him down couldn't touch him. By senior year, he was unstoppable. 1,856 rushing yards, 31 touchdowns, earning a 4-star recruit rating, and the title of Pennsylvania's #1 prospect. His impact was so massive, Whitehall retired his jersey number 21, putting him alongside NFL legends like Matt Millan and Dan Coppin. In that moment, football wasn't just a choice, it was destiny. The sport had claimed him, and boxing quietly slipped into the background. And just when it seemed like the path was clear, Saquon faced another decision. Originally, he was committed to Rutgers, but then Penn State came calling, and everything changed. The program was still crawling out of one of its darkest stretches, hit hard by the Sandusky scandal and NCAA sanctions that stripped scholarships and limited recruits. Records were dismal, morale was low, and the team desperately needed someone to light a spark. Enter Saquon. He wasn't just a talented recruit, he was the kind of player who could change the culture, the energy, and maybe even the future of a struggling powerhouse.
Barkley with a lead. Barkley with a burst. Barkley down the sideline. Saquon Barkley runs the opening kick. 97 yards. Touchdown, Nittany Lions. No flags.
And this is where Saquon's legend truly began. By just his second game at Penn State, he was already hitting 100+ yards, turning heads and demanding attention. Then came Rutgers, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns, and suddenly the kid everyone had overlooked was impossible to ignore. But the real shocker came when he faced #1 Ohio State, the defending national champions. Most freshmen would have been happy just breaking a few solid runs, but not Saquon. He racked up 194 yards on 26 carries, carrying the team on his back and announcing to the nation that a new star had arrived. By the end of his freshman season, his stat line was absurd. 1,076 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. Every eye in college football was now on the Bronx-born running back who had traded boxing gloves for cleats. Sophomore year is where Saquon Barkley stopped being a rising star and became a problem for everyone. Against Pitt, he detonated for 5 touchdowns, turning a rivalry into a showcase. Minnesota learned the hard way too. After being held in check all game, Barkley ended it instantly with a 25-yard overtime walk-off run. Ohio State felt his impact again as Penn State stunned the defending champs, with Barkley breaking tackles and flipping momentum almost by himself. That season, he carried the Nittany Lions to a Big Ten title, piling up 1,496 rushing yards, 18 touchdowns, and over 400 receiving yards. Every touch felt dangerous. By junior year, the hype was unavoidable. Barkley powered another 11-win season, won the Paul Hornung Award, placed 4th in Heisman voting, then shattered the Combine. The Giants took him 2nd overall, bringing the Bronx kid home to New York.
To the outside, continues, and picks up a first down. Terrific second effort on his 3rd carry.
And the very first touch told you everything. Week 1 against Jacksonville, Saquon took a handoff, hit the edge, and exploded for a 68-yard touchdown that felt like a promise. A week later, he caught 14 passes, setting a Giants record and tying an NFL rookie mark. He wasn't just a running back, he was the offense. Inside runs, outside bursts, wheel routes, screens. Pick your poison. By season's end, the numbers were ridiculous. 1,307 rushing yards, 721 receiving yards, and 15 total touchdowns. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year and cracked 2,000 scrimmage yards on a team that finished 5-11. The Giants were broken, the roster was thin, and wins were rare. But Saquon gave New York something it hadn't felt in years: hope. Just when it looked like the climb was unstoppable, everything stalled. In 2019, a high ankle sprain robbed Saquon of his explosion. He came back early, played through pain, and still pushed his way to a 2nd straight 1,000-yard rushing season, something no Giants back had done to start a career. Then came 2020, 1 awkward tackle, 1 torn ACL, and the season was over. The comeback in 2021 never found rhythm. The offensive line collapsed, quarterbacks rotated, and defenses stacked the box, daring the Giants to throw. Saquon fought for every yard, but the numbers didn't look like him anymore. And that's when the whispers started. Was he still the same player? Had injuries taken too much? For the first time, doubt followed him everywhere.
Saquon Barkley, first down and more, and shoved out of bounds across the 45-yard.
But here's the part nobody saw coming. Week 1 of 2022, Saquon made his statement against the Titans. 164 yards, a touchdown, and the game-winning 2-point conversion. Message sent. Week after week, with an offensive line ranked near the bottom of the league, he dragged the Giants forward. When the passing game stalled, Saquon became the engine, piling up yards through sheer will. He finished the season with 1,312 rushing yards and put New York back on the map. Then came the playoffs in Minnesota. On the road, hostile crowd, season on the line, Saquon delivered a masterpiece, scoring twice and leading the Giants to their first playoff win in years. Redemption wasn't loud, it was earned, one brutal carry at a time. This is where it became personal. After lifting the Giants back into relevance, Saquon watched the front office commit long-term to Daniel Jones while handing him a franchise tag. 1 year, prove it again. The 2023 season unraveled, injuries everywhere, a broken line, defenses stacking the box. Still, Saquon produced, fought, and publicly said he wanted to be a Giant for life. Privately, the message felt different. Then came the breaking point. Told to test the market, Saquon found real offers and real respect. The Giants hesitated, miscalculated, and lost him. He signed with the Eagles, New York's biggest rival, for stability, belief, and a real Super Bowl chance.
Looking running back he's ever been around. Hurts doing it again, leaves it for Barkley. Oh, Barkley with a jump cut, he just couldn't stay in.
And from the very first snap, it was different. In his Eagles debut, Saquon scored 3 touchdowns, instantly announcing himself to the league all over again. Then came the revenge game against the Giants. 176 yards, total domination, no mercy. The season turned into a highlight reel. A wild backwards hurdle that broke the internet, a 255-yard demolition of the Rams, the most rushing yards in Eagles history. Week after week, he piled it on, breaking the franchise rushing record and blasting past 2,000 yards on the ground. When Week 18 arrived, history was within reach, but Saquon sat out, saving his legs for the playoffs. The bigger prize mattered more. By season's end, he accounted for 36.6% of Philly's offense, earned Offensive Player of the Year, and finished as an MVP finalist. This wasn't a comeback, it was a takeover. And somehow, it still wasn't over. When the playoffs hit, Saquon shifted into another gear. In the wildcard round, he punished defenses with steady bruising runs, setting the tone early. Then came the divisional round, an absolute explosion. Long touchdowns, broken tackles, total control. By the NFC Championship, it felt unfair. Saquon shredded the defense, turning the game into a blowout before it ever had a chance. And then came the ultimate stage, Super Bowl night against the Kansas City Chiefs. On Saquon Barkley's birthday, he didn't need flashy numbers. He delivered control, balance, and composure, helping Philly dominate from start to finish. When the clock hit 0, he had his ring. Along the way, he stacked postseason numbers that rewrote record books. Revenge turned into validation. Validation turned into history.
Gain of 14 for Barkley. Out of moves right here. Makes the first guy.
When the dust settled, the numbers were staggering. Combined regular season and playoff totals that no running back had ever touched. A new contract followed, making Saquon the highest paid running back in NFL history. And his reaction? Calm, almost casual, no chest pounding, no victory lap, just quiet satisfaction. The kid born into boxing royalty had rejected the ring and carved out football immortality instead. He didn't inherit greatness. He chose it, and then he earned every single inch of it. He was meant to fight in rings, not stadiums. But Saquon Barkley fought expectations, injuries, and doubt instead. From the Bronx to a Lombardi trophy, his journey proves greatness isn't inherited, it's chosen, and his story far from finished.